you're getting the boss. And John's the one with the experience. John comes in, John talks to our people, John sits down with our people, John gives me the report. So I appreciate and esteem the fact that I'm dealing with the principal.
He's willing to put his reputation really online there, because at day's end, if people don't achieve an appreciable gain by participating in the seminar, it's easy for many moderators and facilitators to simply say they didn't put the effort in. John sits there, and if you're successful, the proximate cause of your success is either to your left or to the right. That's John Klymshyn.
We have people from, just graduating from college coming into Yahoo Hot Jobs and making their fresh start out of sales. Then we have seasoned veterans that, this is their maybe 4th or 5th sales job, and through a lot of sales training. And every single person that walked away from that training was impacted in some way.
We had a new hire, but he happened to be 20 years in the business, in telecom business. He came up to me afterwards and said, "That was the best sales training I've ever had in my 20 years of sales training."
He was able to communicate his techniques and skills to a group in a way that didn't seem like they were actually being taught. There's a saying that salespeople love to buy, but they hate to be sold. John really fits that.
Well, there are a number of issues that John tries to hammer home over a period of time. Through his book, through his seminars, through his direct participation in your phone calls. First is discipline and a commitment to making the initial inquiry.
Why do we bristle? Why do we balk at discipline? What's the problem with discipline? It makes us do things. Exactly right. I want to be in work. It's synonymous with work. Exactly right. And what an insane way to live our lives that is. Isn't it amazing that we say, I want all these things, I want to accomplish all these things. How are you going to do that? And the person just kind of stares at you with kind of glass over their eyes. Discipline, here's the thing. Think of anybody that performs regularly and consistently. Not necessarily the best in the world, but performs regularly and consistently. And you will look at someone who is profoundly disciplined. And I would much rather have regular and consistent performance than peaks and valleys, because I, as a salesperson, I tend to be a little emotional. I love everybody. I hate my life, right? Nothing in between. I've got to find a way to balance that out. And the only way I balance that out is discipline. To me, discipline does not necessarily mean that I am a blind follower. What it means to me, Jeff, is that I follow a regular, proven path. That I follow a regular, proven path.
John's techniques are very accessible, are very doable, and very down to earth. The 20 call burst stands out with me.
We have, running around in some of our offices, we have signs up about 20 call burst. Did you do your 20 call burst? So, those are the things that we implemented immediately.
The 20 call burst is a 45 to 90 minute activity. It is a very specific directed activity that can be measured in specific blocks. And what it does for 45 to 90 minutes is it shuts me off from every other distraction. Because you and I as salespeople, we're not distracted at all, right? We're incredibly focused and disciplined. Nothing gets in our way, right? And everyone looks down. Okay, I'm taking notes so he won't pick on me. How about that? A 45 to 90 minute activity, and what we do is we track, this is designed to track our outbound calls. How many of us here in this room have at least 20 humans that we would like to have in conversation today? How many of us? 20. How many have 40? How many have 60? How many have 1,100? Well, guess what? If we know that, it takes 3 to 5 dials to get a decision maker on the phone, and it takes 5 to 7 conversations with that decision maker to figure out whether or not they qualify, then guess what? I need to make sure I start using the phone as a professional sales tool, not as an appointment setting vending machine.
With great immediacy after John's sessions, we've had people use open-ended questions in a very practical, pragmatic, and a successful manner.
He allows the group to kind of delve into their current knowledge, come up with some of their own questions, and he helps analyze them and use them in role play. So they did walk away with a complete list of killer questions that are really specific.
The need for open-end questions is obvious, and John's very good at coming up with what he calls the killer questions.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much. See, isn't that amazing? We ask questions to see whether or not we can get the deal. You and I need to ask questions to see if we can connect. And that's the challenge. I had conversations on every break. And the conversations in this room were about, I have to tell, I need to get across, I have to make them understand. No, wrong answer. thank you for playing. You have got to find a way to do that one-word job description. You have got to find a way to set yourself apart. And one of the most difficult things about figuring out how to do that is that we think that it's going to be about what we say. It is not. It is going to be about what we can find out from them. It's going to come from asking questions, not the right question, not the perfect question, but it's going to be about engaging and involving the other human, asking them emotionally triggered, emotionally oriented, not do you love me, but what do you think about this? How do you feel about that? What do you hope to achieve? And all of a sudden we start to set ourselves apart so that we can find a way to connect that other people cannot.
This has techniques in moving conversations forward and different ways to go about that, even for very hard to call prospects.
Just do whatever you can to try to move that conversation forward in any form, just to the next appointment, to the next whatever, is what they really pull out of that.
John's approach to moving the conversation forward, I think, is a much more sensible, sensitive, and an intelligent standard to be applied.
It's great for me to stand up here and wave my arms around and all that other kind of stuff and say blah, 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 go do this, go do that, and go forth and multiply. It's a totally different experience if we answer the question, how? So in order for you and I to move the conversation forward, we've got to have an answer to the question, how?
What John does is he makes it fun, he makes it very energetic. There's no sales rep that cannot be not paying attention because he's all over them. You'll definitely have 4 or 5 things right off the bat that you could, I think, practically implement into your daily routine that makes a difference.
John strikes a nice balance. He's got all the technical skills, but he imparts them in a way that's motivational.
People buy into him. They like the message. They truly enjoy his conveyance of that message. Top shelf.
I see and hear John's techniques constantly. So to me, that's a good gauge of long-term impact in sales and training.
And in sales, we're all kind of doing a lot of the same things, but he makes it just a little different with his unique approach that has been beneficial for us.